In this age of increasing specialization, low communication cost, and fast transportation, companies are making less and buying more. This means more reliance on supply chains and more risk. Managing integrated supply chains is a strategic challenge. Having fewer suppliers makes the supplier and customer more dependent on each other, increasing risk for both. This risk is compounded by globalization and logistical complexity. In any supply chain, vendor reliability and quality may be challenging. But the new model of a tight, fast, low inventory supply chain, operating across political and cultural boundaries, adds a new dimension to risk. As organizations go global, shipping time, lead time, may increase, logistics may be less reliable, and tariffs and quotas may block companies from doing business. In addition, international supply chains complicate information flows and increase political or currency risks. Supply chain risks arise in numerous ways, and you cannot outsource risk. Table 11.3 identifies major categories of risks and tactics to help manage them. The development of a successful strategic plan for supply chain management requires careful research, a thorough assessment of the risks involved, and innovative planning. Companies need to focus not only on reducing potential disruptions but also on how to prepare for responses to inevitable negative events. Flexible, secure supply chains and sufficient insurance against a variety of disruptions are a start. They may also choose to diversify their supplier base by using multiple sources for critical components. McDonald's uses multiple suppliers tactic to mitigate the risk of delivery failure. Darden Restaurants carefully selects the suppliers, uses training, certification, and monitoring to reduce the risk of quality failure. Walmart, in order to counter the risk of logistics delays or damage, uses multiple or redundant transportation modes and warehouses, secure packaging, effective contracts with penalties. Toyota, in contrast, employs the tactic of careful selection, monitoring, and effective contracts with penalties to mitigate the distribution risk. To handle the risk of information loss or distortion, Boeing utilizes redundant databases, secure IT systems, training of supply chain partners on the proper interpretations and uses of information. Hard Rock Cafe deals with political risk by purchasing political risk insurance and embracing cross-country diversification, franchising and licensing. Honda and Nissan mitigate the economic risk by hedging to combat exchange rate risk, purchasing contracts that address price fluctuations. Toyota embraces the tactics of buying insurance, alternate sourcing and cross-country diversification to face the risk of natural disasters. The Domestic Port Radiation Initiative taken by the U.S. government is an example of theft, vandalism, and terrorism risk mitigation. There is probably no society more open than the U.S. This includes its borders and ports, but they are swamped. Millions of containers enter U.S. ports each year, along with thousands of planes, cars, and trucks each day. Even under the best of conditions, some 5% of the container movements are misrouted, stolen, damaged, or excessively delayed. Since the September 11, 2001, terrorist attacks, supply chains have become more complex. However, technological innovations in the supply chain are improving both security and inventory management, making logistics more reliable. Technology is now capable of knowing truck and container location, content, and condition. New devices can even detect broken container seals. Motion detectors can also be installed inside containers. Other sensors record interior data including temperature, shock, radioactivity, and whether a container is moving. Tracking lost containers, identifying delays, or just reminding individuals in the supply chain that a shipment is on its way will help expedite shipments. As managers move toward integration of the supply chain, substantial efficiencies are possible. However, it can lead to actions that may not optimize the entire chain. On the other hand, the supply chain is full of opportunities to reduce waste and enhance value. We now look at some of the significant issues and opportunities. 3 issues complicate development of an efficient, integrated supply chain: local optimization, incentives, and large lots. First, local optimization. Members of the chain are inclined to focus on maximizing local profit or minimizing immediate cost based on their limited knowledge. Slight upturns in demand are overcompensated for because no one wants to be caught short. Similarly, slight downturns are overcompensated for because no one wants to be caught holding excess inventory. So fluctuations are magnified. Second, incentives, sales incentives, quantity discounts, quotas, and promotions. Incentives push merchandise into the chain for sales that have not occurred. This generates fluctuations that are ultimately expensive to all members of the chain. Lastly, large lots. There is often a bias toward large lots because large lots tend to reduce unit costs. A logistics manager wants to ship large lots, preferably in full trucks, and a production manager wants long production runs. Both actions drive down unit shipping and production costs, but they increase holding costs and fail to reflect actual sales. These 3 common occurrences, local optimization, incentives, and large lots, contribute to distortions of information about what is really occurring in the supply chain. A well-running supply system needs to be based on accurate information about how many products are truly being pulled through the chain. The inaccurate information is unintentional, but it results in distortions and fluctuations, causing what is known as the bullwhip effect. Accurate pull data are generated by sharing 1. Point of sales (POS) information so that each member of the chain can schedule effectively, and 2. Computer-assisted ordering (CAO). This implies using POS systems that collect sales data and then adjusting that data for market factors, inventory on hand, and outstanding orders. Then a net order is sent directly to the supplier, who is responsible for maintaining the finished goods inventory. Lot sizes are reduced through aggressive management. This may include 1. Developing economical shipments of less than truckload lots, 2. Providing discounts based on total annual volume rather than size of individual shipments, and 3. Reducing the cost of ordering through techniques such as standing orders and various forms of electronic purchasing. Single-stage control of replenishment means designating a member in the chain as responsible for monitoring and managing inventory in the supply chain based on the pull from the end user. This approach removes distorted information and multiple forecasts that create the bullwhip effect. Vendor-managed inventory (VMI) means the use of a local supplier, usually a distributor, to maintain inventory for the manufacturer or retailer. The supplier delivers directly to the purchasers using department rather than to a receiving dock or stockroom. If the supplier can maintain the stock of inventory for a variety of customers who use the same product or whose differences are very minor, say, at the packaging stage, then there should be a net savings. These systems work without the immediate direction of the purchaser. As with single-stage control and vendor-managed inventory, collaborative planning, forecasting, and replenishment (CPFR) is another effort to manage inventory in the supply chain. With CPFR, members of the supply chain share planning, demand, forecasting, and inventory information. Partners in a CPFR effort begin with collaboration on product definition and a joint marketing plan. Promotion, advertising, forecasts, joint order commitments, and timing of shipments are all included in the plan in a concerted effort to drive down inventory and related costs. CPFR can help to significantly reduce the bullwhip effect. Blanket orders are unfilled orders with a vendor and are also called open orders or incomplete orders. A blanket order is a contract to purchase certain items from a vendor. It is not an authorization to ship anything. Shipment is made only on receipt of an agreed-on document, perhaps a shipping requisition or shipment release. The purchasing department should make special efforts to increase levels of standardization. That is, rather than obtaining a variety of similar components with labeling, coloring, packaging, or perhaps even slightly different engineering specifications, the purchasing agent should try to have those components standardized. Postponement withholds any modification or customization to the product, keeping it generic, as long as possible. The concept is to minimize internal variety while maximizing external variety. For instance, after analyzing the supply chain for its printers, Hewlett-Packard, HP, determined that if the printer's power supply was moved out of the printer itself and into a power cord, HP could ship the basic printer anywhere in the world. Electronic ordering and bank transfers are traditional approaches to speeding transactions and reducing paperwork. Transactions between firms often use electronic data interchange, EDI, which is a standardized data transmittal format for computerized communications between organizations. EDI also provides for the use of Advanced Shipping Notice, ASN, which notifies the purchaser that the vendor is ready to ship. Although some firms are still moving to EDI and ASN, the Internet's ease of use and lower cost is proving more popular. Drop shipping means the supplier will ship directly to the end consumer, rather than to the seller, saving both time and reshipping costs. Other cost-saving measures include the use of special packaging, labels, and optimal placement of labels and barcodes on containers. The final location down to the department and number of units in each shipping container can also be indicated. Substantial savings can be obtained through management techniques such as these. Some of these techniques can be of particular benefit to wholesalers and retailers by reducing shrinkage, lost, damaged, or stolen merchandise, and handling cost. Blockchain seems poised to play a significant role in logistics, where it could change how supply chains work. Blockchains allow participants to add blocks of information after each firm validates transactions as they progress along the production, shipping, and delivery phases of a supply chain. The blocks are time-stamped and added to the chain at each transaction. The process is simpler and more secure than the array of barcodes, scanners, paper forms, and individual databases that a company has historically used. For those goods and services a firm buys, suppliers, also known as vendors, must be selected and actively managed. We now examine supplier selection as a four-stage process: 1. Supplier evaluation, 2. Supplier development, 3. Negotiations, and 4. Contracting. The first stage of supplier selection, supplier evaluation, involves finding potential suppliers and determining the likelihood of their becoming good suppliers. If good suppliers are not selected, then all other supply chain efforts are wasted. Supplier certification. International quality certifications such as ISO 9000 and ISO 14000 are designed to provide an external verification that a firm follows sound quality management and environmental management standards. A certification process often involves 3 steps: 1. Qualification, 2. Education, and 3. The certification performance process. Once certified, the supplier may be awarded special treatment and priority, allowing the buying firm to reduce or eliminate incoming inspection of materials. Such an arrangement may facilitate JIT production for the buying firm. Most large companies use some sort of supplier certification program. The second stage of supplier selection is supplier development. Assuming that a firm wants to proceed with a particular supplier, how does it integrate this supplier into its system? The buyer makes sure the supplier has an appreciation of quality requirements, product specifications, schedules, and delivery, and procurement policies. Supplier development may include everything from training, to engineering and production help, to procedures for information transfer. Negotiation represents a significant element in a purchasing manager's job, and well-honed negotiation skills are highly valued. Here are 3 classic types of negotiation strategies. Cost-based price model. The cost-based price model requires that the supplier open its books to the purchaser. The contract price is then based on time and materials or on a fixed cost with an escalation clause to accommodate changes in the vendor's labor and materials cost. Market-based price model. In the market-based price model, price is based on a published, auction, or index price. Many commodities, agricultural products, paper, metal, etc., are priced this way. Competitive bidding. When suppliers are not willing to discuss costs or where near-perfect markets do not exist, competitive bidding is often appropriate. Competitive bidding is the typical policy in many firms for the majority of their purchases. Supply chain partners often develop contracts to spell out terms of the relationship. Contracts are designed to share risks, share benefits, and create incentive structures to encourage supply chain members to adopt policies that are optimal for the entire chain. Companies with multiple facilities must determine which items to purchase centrally and which to allow local sites to purchase for themselves. Unmonitored decentralized purchasing can create havoc. Important cost, efficiency, and single-voice benefits often accrue from a centralized purchasing function. Typical benefits include: leverage purchase volume for better pricing, develop specialized staff expertise, develop stronger supplier relationships, maintain professional control over the purchasing process, devote more resources to the supplier selection and negotiation process, reduce the duplication of tasks, promote standardization. E-procurement speeds purchasing, reduces costs, and integrates the supply chain. It reduces the traditional barrage of paperwork and, at the same time, provides purchasing personnel with an extensive database of supplier, delivery, and quality data. Online catalogs and exchanges. Purchase of standard items is often accomplished via online catalogs. Such catalogs support cost comparisons and incorporate voice and video clips, making the process efficient for both buyers and sellers. Online exchanges are typically industry-specific internet sites that bring buyers and sellers together. Online catalogs and exchanges can help move companies from a multitude of individual phone calls, faxes, and emails to a centralized system and drive billions of dollars of waste out of the supply chain. Online auctions. In addition to catalogs, some suppliers and buyers have established online auction sites. Operations managers find online auctions a fertile area for disposing of excess raw material and discontinued or excess inventory. Online auctions lower entry barriers, encourage sellers to join, and simultaneously increase the potential number of buyers. In a traditional auction, a seller offers a product or service and generates competition between bidders bidding the price up. In contrast, buyers often utilize online reverse auctions, or Dutch auctions. In reverse auctions, a buyer initiates the process by submitting a description of the desired product or service. Procurement activities may be combined with various shipping, warehousing, and inventory activities to form a logistics system. The purpose of logistics management is to obtain efficiency of operations through the integration of all material acquisition, movement, and storage activities. Many firms opt for outsourcing the logistics function, as logistics specialists can often bring expertise not available in-house. The potential for competitive advantage is found via both reduced costs and improved customer service. Trucking. The vast majority of manufactured goods moves by truck. The flexibility of shipping by truck is only one of its many advantages. Railroads are capable of carrying large loads. Containerization has made shipping of truck trailers on railroad flat cars a popular means of distribution. Air freight. For national and international movement of lightweight items, such as medical and emergency supplies, flowers, fruits, and electronic components, air freight offers speed and reliability. Waterways. The usual cargo on internal waterways is bulky, low-value cargo such as iron ore, grains, cement, coal, chemicals, limestone, and petroleum products. Water transportation is often preferred when cost is more important than speed. Pipelines are an important form of transporting crude oil, natural gas, and other petroleum and chemical products. Multimodal shipping combines shipping methods and is a common means of getting a product to its final destination, particularly for international shipments. The use of standardized containers facilitates easy transport from truck to rail to ship and back again, without having to unload products from the containers until the very end. Faster methods such as air freight tend to be much more expensive, while slower methods, such as waterways, provide a much cheaper shipping rate per unit. The size of shipments follows a similar pattern. The faster methods tend to involve smaller shipment sizes, while the slower methods involve very large shipment sizes. Warehouses may be extremely expensive to operate, but the alternatives, example either no storage at all or storage at local operating facilities, along with the related logistics issues, may be much more costly. The fundamental purpose of a warehouse is to store goods. However, some warehouses also provide other crucial functions. For example, a warehouse can serve as a consolidation point, gathering shipments from multiple sources to send outbound in one cheaper, fully loaded truck. Alternatively, a warehouse can provide a break bulk function by accepting a cheaper full truckload inbound shipment and then dividing it for distribution to individual sites. Further, similar to a major airport hub, a warehouse can serve simply as a cross-docking facility accepting shipments from a variety of sources and recombining them for distribution to a variety of destinations, often without actually storing any goods during the transition. Finally, a warehouse can serve as a point of postponement in the process, providing final customer-specific value-added processing to the product before final shipment. Channel assembly represents one way to implement postponement. Channel assembly sends individual components and modules, rather than finished products, to the distributor. The distributor then assembles, tests, and ships. Channel assembly treats distributors more as manufacturing partners than as distributors. Supply chain managers outsource logistics to meet three goals: 1. Drive down inventory investment, 2. Lower delivery costs, and 3. Improve delivery reliability and speed. Specialized logistics firms support these goals by creatively coordinating the supplier's inventory system with the service capabilities of the delivery firm. To be continued.